My name's Derek, and I play the electric guitar. So I am pretty good. You know, I could be better, obviously. Some people are way better than me, and some people aren't as good. But since I've started uploading videos over the past few months, I've been able to notice things about my own playing. I've been able to watch myself and listen and learn from the ways that I could be better. And I think I'm probably not the only person who could improve. So today I'm going to talk about 5 techniques that I've noticed of my own playing that could be holding you back. Now, these aren't techniques that require a ton of practice or anything like that. There obviously are things, ways that you could get better, but I'm not talking about something like sweep picking that could unlock a whole bunch of potential. Maybe it could, maybe it couldn't, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about things that you can implement today. Next time you pick up your guitar, you can do these things. All it requires is you thinking about it and implementing them. And I think they're going to help take the music that you produce to the next level. So number 1 is plucking too hard. That's something that I deal with. Maybe you notice, but I really pluck those strings hard. And I could stand to dial it back. I actually recently increased the thickness of pick that I use because I read that thinner picks can make it feel like you need to pick it harder. And so I've been testing that for myself, and I've found that I really am liking thicker picks. Maybe it's helping, maybe it's not. Another way that I address this is simply to turn myself up a little bit. A lot of times when I'm plucking too hard, it's because I just want to be louder. I want to hear myself a little bit better, and I can achieve this by turning up. If I turn myself up some, I'm less likely to feel like I need to pick harder, and I can get the more accurate tones at the volume that I'm looking for. And plus, you're gonna adjust the volume after the fact anyway. Your sound guy's gonna adjust the volume. So really, as long as what you can hear is comfortable and sounds right, that's gonna help you play better. And so just by turning up the volume, I find that my hand kind of eases back. Okay, so I've got a little groove and D going right now just to kind of show you some examples of these things. So here's me plucking too hard. Now here's me playing a little bit more smoothly. And it can be useful too to kind of accent with some hard notes. You don't have that option when every note's plucked so hard. 2 is trying to play too fast, not necessarily melodically. And this is something that is a little bit harder to put into action. It's a little bit harder to explain how to do it, but rather than trying to do fast runs all the time, it's good to try and make your guitar sing. One of my favorite guitarists is David Gilmour, and he is not a fast player at all. You could listen to a guitar solo of his and it could sound incredible, and then whenever you go to play it, you realize just how easy it is, just how few notes there are. One way that I've heard this described is to try and make your playing sound kind of more like vocal melodies. Think about, would somebody be able to sing this? And that can be really helpful for particularly adding a lot of depth to your playing. Now, quick runs are nice and they have a place, and I'm not one to say that, fast playing has no feel. Sometimes, but but I'm kind of in the camp of people who say that people who hate on fast playing are generally the people who can't do it. Now, I'm not as fast as some people. I am moderately quick sometimes, but the general idea is that if you are trying to play quickly the whole time and that's your thing, it gets old pretty quickly. The faster you're playing, the more quickly you run out of notes. And so it's good to add some variety and some depth into it. The next thing I'm going to do is try and play quickly, make it about speed. Again, it's not the worst thing to have sometimes, but this is going to sound a lot nicer whenever I'm doing something more melodic. Just a little bit too much, Again, sometimes it sounds nice to have those runs, but you don't want them all the time. So that's something that's relatively singable. You can picture that being an actual vocal melody, and it just sounds nice. Especially when you're doing a longer guitar solo that needs room to do a lot of things in order to stay interesting. The third thing is overplaying, and that kind of goes along the lines of quick playing, but one place that this happens is chording. And so sometimes strumming is the thing to do. Other times just playing a chord and letting it ring, even in big moments. Sometimes just letting that high gain chord ring out is the best play. Another way that you can do this is arpeggiating. So again, instead of strumming, you can just play the individual notes of the chord. You don't even have to know how to play the arpeggio in the scale further up the neck. Just play the chord, but play it one note at a time. Play it a little bit rhythmically, and that can really bring out some of the beauty in the chord. So now I'm going to strum these chords and give them some kind of a rhythm that might be a little bit too rhythmic. They sound right, and the rhythm was right. The rhythm was pretty good. It's a pretty basic thing. But here is just letting them ring. Now I'll add some arpeggiation. So you can see it just adds a little bit of color. The fourth thing is playing what is fun rather than practicing. And this is a big thing that I am particularly guilty of this. I'm guilty of all of these things, but I am particularly guilty of this. Most of the playing that I'm doing is in these videos, and so I'm not taking the time to grab a metronome and practice scales. I should. I would get much better that way. And hear me out. Just playing is so much better than nothing. I have seen improvement in my own ability to play and my own creativity in what I'm doing. Practice is not required, or methodical practice is not required, but it will get you so much better at the thing that you're practicing so much quicker than just noodling or just throwing on a track and jamming with it. And so if you're really looking to get to the next level on a particular thing, grab a metronome, get it going, practice your scales, practice your timing, and actually practice rather than playing what's fun. Even as little as 5 minutes a day will really open it up for you. Actually, what I've been doing with these YouTube videos is practicing, but it's a practice in creativity in particular, and improvisation. And so even though I'm not sitting down with a metronome and practicing, I'm very intentional about trying to make sure that I'm able to get the intros to my videos out very quickly, that I don't spend too much time trying to craft the perfect song necessarily. And I use the song loosely, they're really just ideas. But I don't want to spend too much time on it because I really just want to get the reps in for creativity. And then whenever I solo over it, again, sometimes it takes multiple takes, but I try and get it in as few takes as possible. A lot of times that's the first take, but not always. But I'm really just looking to be able to improvise without trying to craft a guitar solo itself, without trying to craft a piece. I'm looking for creativity and improvisation here. And so doing this every single day has really helped me in that. I don't have anything to show you for this one. Just turn on that metronome. And the fifth thing is something that I think a lot of people don't necessarily think about, but it's to record yourself and then listen back to it. Whenever you're playing, in the moment, you hear what you're doing in your head. Like, that's just what's happening. You hear a lot of things, actually. You hear what's going on in your head, you hear what's actually happening, you hear yourself plucking the strings, which is something that doesn't necessarily come out in a recording. You hear what you want it to sound like, essentially. And so you miss a lot of things that really could take to the next level. And so for me, over the past few months, I've been recording myself and uploading, and I've listened back to every video multiple times in editing, but also just after the fact. I listen back to it to see how it went. I don't worry about it being too polished. I'm able to pick up things that could make me better. That's how I've kind of picked up this list that I'm working on. I'm able to pick up things that I probably wouldn't have noticed in the actual playthrough. Another cool thing about that is a lot of times in the actual moment of playing, I don't really feel like a take went super well, but it will go well enough to keep going. And so whenever I listen back on it, sometimes it went better than I thought it did. And so it's kind of a reassurance that not everything that you play is terrible. You know, listen back to it, see how it sounds. Maybe it was pretty cool, and maybe you did something that you can take to the next song. Odds are there's something there. And so I think it's definitely worth, turning on your phone camera and just recording what you're playing and seeing how it sounds and seeing what there is. If you want to be creative with it, there's a good chance that you'll just forget what you just did in like an hour. And so it's good to have those things, even if it's kind of cringe to listen back. Like anyone else, I am overly critical of myself, and a big part of what I'm doing here is just not worrying about that. I think most people who make YouTube videos just have to get over that, especially now that my voice and face is in these videos. But recording and listening back is definitely something that will help you analyze how you play more critically and pick out the ways that you actually need to improve. I don't have anything to show you for this one either. Just turn on that recorder. So that's my top 5 technique picks. Things that could be holding you back are definitely holding me back, or at least have been in some way. There are more than that, but who's gonna click a video that says top 6 techniques or top 8 techniques? And in particular, these are things that you can implement today. These are things that you can just start doing. You don't have to learn them. You don't have to develop the muscle memory. You just have to think about it while you're doing it and make yourself do it differently. So what about you? What do you think is holding me back, or yourself? What do you think can help other people? Little techniques, little things that you can just implement immediately. I would love to hear about it in the comments. Thank you so much to everyone watching this video, to people commenting, to everyone subscribed, to people who like the video. Like and subscribe if you want to. I'll be here. And check out the video link to see how I use an HX Stomp to its fullest potential. I get all of my gain stages, all of my effects out of it, without needing to do anything else. Bye!